Hey everyone, welcome back. This video has been a long time coming. It's been in the works for a little bit, mainly just because I've been doing some testing with the deck in the sim and in real life and just kind of making sure it feels good. Now, it's not perfect. It's not going to be the best deck in format. It's probably not even, it's probably at most a B tier deck. You're going to win a lot into, the older decks, but that's just because you've got a lot of good support in here. But for the most part, it's just a fun deck to play around. Now, before I go on, if you do like the video at some point, go ahead and leave a like down below, drop a comment, just, it's nice to see those things. But we'll get into it now. I'm re-recording this because the last time I went way too long. I feel like I can kind of trim down what I'm going to say here. So, obviously we have Red Purple Uta, been out since OP06, kind of been mid since then. The film support that she did have and still does have is kind of mid at best. It's not very good. It can get you there, but you really need to be a good pilot and have the heart of the cards to kind of win with that. But with Structure Deck 23 that came out about a month and a half ago, you have two good cards in it that kind of elevated this deck to be a lot better. It's not the greatest, but it's still pretty good. Uta's leader ability: trash a film card when attacking from your hand, give up to one of your opponent's characters 2,000 power less, and then add a Dawn deck from your Dawn deck as rested. Really good ramp built in, pretty easy to fulfill, right? You just need a film card in your hand, but double-edged sword, right? You're most likely going to be trashing counter, and that's not going to feel good. But we have ways to get that back. So first we'll talk about the cards. We have the 1-cost Uta Searcher. Searches red hair, top 5. It's really good. We have a lot of red hairs. Then we'll go through those first, actually. We have Divine Departure. It's a 2 of. Most of the time you're going to use this as a clear when you can't use Beckman, but the other time you're going to use it as counter. You have a bunch of 10 drops in here, so there's not a ton of chances late game to use this. So this is kind of a use it mid game, use it early. You don't need to be saving this card. But it's only at 2. We don't really need to see it that often. It does help, but we have other ways. And it's searchable off of Uta. We also have Ben Beckman, right? If we don't want to use Divine Departure or we don't have it, we have Ben Beckman. He's searchable off Uta. Trashes the 6k, which is better than KOing because then they don't get any effects unless it says removed from play. He can be countered by blue, some yellow, but for the most part, this is a really solid card to play almost all of the time. Definitely a need. For the other red hairs, we've got the 10-cost Rush Shanks. Solid card. Don't really need to say much about it. If you are wondering what he does, he is a 10-cost 12k body with Rush, and when he's on the field, all of your opponent's characters have minus 1,000 power. So really easy to clear a 5k body with your leader, or a 6k body, swing into it with your leader when he's on the board, because they're not going to be that anymore. They're going to be 1,000 less. We also have the 10-cost KO Shanks. KO is a character that is 10,000 power or less. That pairs really well with our leader ability, right? Because we can trash a card. We don't necessarily need to ramp if we have 10 Dawn on board, but we can give something minus 2,000 power and clear it. Even if it's active, we can clear it with this card. And most importantly, he's the only Shanks in here that is a film type, which means if we need to, we can trash him for leader ability. Sometimes it's better to trash him for leader ability, drop Shanks and or Divine Departure, and clear it that way than it is to do it with this, because then we get some Dawn up that we can spread and maybe swing a little higher. The last card that is searchable off of the 1-cost Uta for red hair in this package is the new-ish, right? It's been out for a little while now. The 9-cost 10k Shanks. If your opponent has a character with 8,000 base power or more, give this card -3 cost in hand. Now, that's good because we can play him for 6 and chain it with the new Uta, right? But it's also base power. So even if we have a 10-cost Shanks on board that is minusing things, right, we can still play him for 6 because it's base power, not adjusted. And then on play, this is the best part, right? This is why we can play him even if we don't get that cost reduction in hand. We can play him at 9 sometimes and still feel safe, because on play, if our leader has red hair pirates, or is Uta, our leader gets 2,000 power until the end of our opponent's next end phase. With all of the power raise that's coming out now, this is a good way to counter that, but it's also a good way to stay safe. We are trashing a lot of cards for leader ability. We're just trying to stay healthy and trashing that way. So this gives us a free 2k for the next turn. So that's why he's not bad to play, even on 9 or 10 if we don't have the other Shanks, because we get that on playability. Now it is great to play him for 6, don't get me wrong, but it's kind of not, it's not bad to play him on 9. Don't feel like you need to save him for when they have that out, because if they have an 8,000 power body on board, you might not get the chance to live to play another card after anyway. So it just kind of depends. But if we do get to play him out for 6, we can chain him with the new Uta, the 6k 4 or 6 cost 4k power 2k counter Uta. She's a blocker, which is very good. But the best part is, if we have a character with 10,000 power or more, we can give the card -4 cost in hand, which means we can drop this card for 6 and then drop Uta for 2, and that is an 8 Dawn turn that we got 2 bodies out that are very good, right? This Uta chained with this Shanks means you can drop this Shanks when they have an 8,000 power body and play the Uta and probably survive the next turn, because you'll be a 7k leader with a blocker on board, and she's harder to get rid of with that 6 cost on board because they'll have to cost reduction or whatever, but it'll be a lot harder for them to get rid of her easily. Now there are some drawbacks to that, right? We are having to expend 2 cards and a 2k out of hand, but it's a pretty good play that makes this deck a lot more bearable. Now, it isn't to say if you have Ben Beckman on board that you just don't attach 3 Dawn to Ben Beckman, because you can then play her for 2 cost, right? That's 5 Dawn to play a pretty good blocker, because it doesn't say with base power, it just says with power or more, and Dawn attached on your turn makes that body that power. So 3 Dawn on Ben Beckman, and you have the condition fulfilled to play her. 4 Dawn on Gale Tesoro, you have the condition to play her for 2. Really good. We'll go through the other cards after we go through this deck card. This is the tech, right? It's a 1 of Kaido Linlin, Dawn -10, KOs all other characters, take a life from, or take a card from the top of your deck, add it to your life, and trash one of your opponent's life when attacking. It's a double-edged sword, right? You're going to lose all your Dawn. But if you're in a condition where you can win the following turn with this, or you can at least survive another turn until you can win with it by swinging 12, it's fine to play, but it can really hurt you. It's a good card. It's a tech card at most. It's kind of, it's rough. If you're playing this, you have to have the perfect setup. They have to have, no board, but it does give you a way to heal without having to use 9 Mom. 9 Mom could be good in here. I prefer this and having a bunch more Shanks, because this still gives me a way to play Shanks the next turn. Then I can swing with this. I do lose the Shanks, but I am getting a lot of pressure. So Kaido Linlin's a tech. You can, take her out. You can throw in maybe another Divine Departure, or maybe you could throw in another Shanks here or another Shanks here. I think the 9 cost Shanks at 3 is plenty. I don't think you need 4. I think 3 is fine. But the rush Shanks, maybe you want it 4. That's fine. We'll go through the other cards here now. Starting with the most important, we have 4 cost Ein, right? This deck, you need ramp other than your leader ability, and this is the card to do it. You can trash this card with leader ability if you need to late game, right? She's not just a brick in hand sometimes. You can use this for cost reduction to then play out Ben Beckman, or maybe put a 10k power body in range of Divine Departure. That's also good. But she's really just going to be a ramp that you play on 4 Dawn every single time. She's just probably your best card early, and then late game is just going to be all of your red hair pirates for your late game. We have Gale Tesoro, so like I said, we have to trash a card for leader ability. We're going to have to counter out to stay healthy. We're a 4 life leader. Guilt of Sorrow is going to give us a way to get counter from our trash back into our hand. And the only thing he does not counter does not pick up are the red hair pirates and this 6-cost Uta, because he only picks up a 4-cost. Unfortunately, it puts her out of play. So we want to counter our 2Ks with her last. She's our last 2K that we use, only because we want to be able to try to get her use of her later. But Guilt of Sorrow, he does put us behind in Dawn, but it's not necessarily a bad thing, right? We can get counter back in hand, survive a little bit more. We can maybe, use another Ein that we get back and trash and get that Dawn back and still get a 2K counter back from our trash. So Guilt of Sorrow is a good mid-game card for sure. The other cards we have that are important are Shariah. With the power raise meta and also with 6K leaders and eventually the Roger, this card is super important, right? He's a blocker for 3 costs, but when attacking or when blocking, he gains the same base power of our opponent's leader until the start of our next turn. So if we play him, we don't block or we keep him up, the next turn, let's say we're facing a purple-black Luffy, they play Beer Luffy, he'll go up when we attack with Shariah to the 7K that purple-black Luffy is, and now we still force at least 1K counter out of hand. And the best part about that is he stays a 7K power body until our next turn. So he's going to be harder to clear even though he's rested, because he stays that power until our next turn. So we could potentially even save him and do it again. You could take out Kaido Linlin and put Shariah at 4, up to you. We'll just go through the rest pretty quickly. We have Shiki as another chump blocker. On play, if we have 8 or more Dawn, we do get to cycle, draw 1, discard 1, so that could help. But most of the time, he's just a cheap 2-cost blocker that we can throw out there, right? He is easily removed, but it can save some of our bodies if they can't, or if they don't have the resources to attempt it. You could throw in Baccarat instead, and that gives you a way to get rid of some of our bricks in hand for 2Ks, like the Kaido Linlin. You could get rid of her, or maybe you have one too many of these Shanks because we can't trash this Shanks for leader ability. Baccarat could be good here. I haven't really tested that out. I've been happy with the Shiki, but Baccarat might be an option that you can put in over the Shiki. So that's fine. This slot is kind of flexible, but it is likely to be a chump blocker. Next, we have our 2K counter Gordon, just a film card, 2K, we can trash it. We don't use it on play too much. That's like a last case scenario. We also have Beppo, again, kind of like a throwaway card for counter or leader ability, but if you know your opponent's going to play a bunch of chump blockers, maybe Beppo isn't going to be easily removed, you can play Beppo and then swing with a Dawn attack the next turn and get rid of one of their chump blockers, right? It's going to be super easy. However, it's hard to get Beppo to stick, so I wouldn't advise against it. If that's your only play, go for it. It could help you. It almost won me a game against my buddy who was playing Blackbeard. I had a bunch of Beppos on the board. It was close, but it wasn't the greatest play. It was the only play I had, but it could help you later on. Then last but not least, we have our Buena Festa Searcher. Now, he's a 2K. He's film. That's pretty much all we want to do with him. The only time we search with him is if we don't have Ein in our opening hand. That's pretty much the only thing we're searching for with Buena Festa, ever, is Ein. You can search for the Guilt of Sorrow, maybe the 6-cost Uta or the Shariah, but ideally we'll draw into those or we'll get them later. But Ein, we need the Ein. So I'll go into the turn order really quick. You want to go second. You go second. You search on your first turn with Uta or Buena Festa if you have to, but ideally you want to search for your Ben Beckman or your Rush Shanks. Ben Beckman or Rush Shanks. You'll probably get 9-cost Shanks, but he's somewhat situational. 10-cost KO Shanks is good, but we kind of want the Beckman more because we can play him earlier. That's all for the Uta. Now, if you have them in hand, you don't want to search. You don't want to go down too much in counter because you can also trash Uta for leader ability, and that's a trashing 1K instead of a 2K. But if you don't have those components in your hand, you kind of need to search for them. And again, Buena Festa, if we don't have Ein in our opening hand, even after a mulligan, we kind of want to search with Manifesta to get that Ein, so that on turn 2, on 4 Dawn, we get the Ein, and we can search, or we can ramp. We want to double ramp. Going first doesn't necessarily mean you lose, but it is a lot harder. If you go second, you search twice, maybe, if you need to. You don't need to search twice if you have your pieces, because you want to keep your counter in hand. So that's kind of the incentive to not search sometimes. Then on 4 Dawn, you drop Ein, you leader ability, and you go up to 8 Dawn on turn 3. That puts your Gildosaur online, that puts your Beckman online. That means your Divine Departure is online. And then the next turn, you're going into 10. That gives you your 9 cost Shanks. It gives you your 10 cost Shanks right here. And if, who knows, if you're ahead enough, maybe they took too many life, put your Kaido Linlin online if you absolutely need to. Right? So the double ramp on turn 2, going second, is the best way to make this deck work. I'm not saying you can't win in other ways, but it is much harder. So you'll kind of see what I'm talking about in the games. I'll show you a couple that I have played out with this recently, and then you can kind of judge from there. But overall, at most, this could be a low B tier deck. It's probably still C tier. It's not that great. There are probably better ways to play it. There's probably more consistent ways to play it that don't necessarily utilize the leader ability too much. But this feels good. This is fun. When you do get the double ramp, it's great. So anyway, that's the deck list. And again, if you like the video or you have comments about the deck list or anything else, go ahead, leave a like down below, drop a comment. It's nice to see those things and it lets me know, what I should change or what I shouldn't. But anyway, we'll get into the games and then that'll be the video. So I will see you guys in the next one. Oh boy, this is not going to be a good game. He's going first. I've got Ein. Ein's not bad for me. And I've got Gildosaur. So, okay. Do we want to search? Do we want to search? No. It's got what I would want to search for. We're going to have to take that one. Sadly. We'll discard that. Choose no targets. We'll most likely have to play out Gildosaur next turn. Yeah. We'll get those back. See, I need 5, so I gotta go 6. We'll go 7. Get some counter back. And now we're on Rush Shanks / KO. Rah. Defend that, for sure. Defend that. We'll go 5. Five. 6. And rush. Okay. Let's see. Yep, that's what I thought it would be. He's gonna go 6. We defend. And we defend. Because he's gonna make this a blocker, I think. Yeah, and then we just go pop. We'll go into that. 5 into it. No, because I want to see what it gives me. Let's see. I think we just set up and wait here. Okay. Yeah, he got that. So we'll go here. Go here. Here. Go here. And try a blocker. And we win. Nice. Okay, we've got Shanks. I chose to go first, so I need a mulligan for what I don't have. Nice. Okay, let's search for the Ein. We don't get it. We'll just pick up the Uta and then Uta search for, well, that's even worse. Okay, well, we're that much closer to Ein. We are going to take that. Gee, wow. Okay. Okay. We don't really have a play, so we'll just go. Sure. 5. And get rid of 1 guild. Most likely have to guild back a Marco. Okay. We can get rid of that though. So, bye. And yeah, because we've got. Okay, we're good. Yep, and here comes his Ben Beckman. Otama. Marco again. Interesting. I think we do that. We're just gonna go into him. And we're just gonna also play removal here. We got a life. That's what we needed. Okay. I think we have to, yeah. That's gonna cost 9. I don't want to. This will probably be for the best because I should be able to cheat this out next turn. So that is 3 Marcos I've gotten rid of. Okay, so he's gonna Whitebeard. Alright. And we will counter. Yeah, because we have to. The bright side is we get to do that. Swing into that for free, basically. Swing 8. And stabilize with him. Beckman, KO's blocker. He goes 7. Take. Okay. Now, here's where we have to be like I think we just lose next turn if we don't play the blocker. Draw one. Honestly, we'll trash that. I think we'll leave up to No. We'll do this now. And then we'll go 7. He's gonna give me a 2K. 10. 12. Now, if he KOs us with anything, that should be... He's gonna KO this. Fine departure that. So he's got 3. Shariah maybe, or some other kind of blocker. I mean, we're just gonna block out his attack here. Yeah, I think we got it. I don't think that matters, buddy. Yeah. Okay, this is interesting. Oh, shoot. Well, my misclick did not make it worse. Yeah, we don't need to search for another film. We're fine. You got that one. Honestly, yeah. Counter that. He's got a blocker. Beckman would have been cool. Let's see if we can actually search for a Beckman. We don't get a Beckman, but we get that. So I need 5, so we'll go 6. Yeah, there's always a chance for this trigger, yeah. Okay, so we'll just go here and get my counter back. You just block rain up. So we don't have 9. We can get rid of the Shirahosh. I think it's better to get rid of that. We'll go 5. Go 6. I should have gone 5 again because I want to play this blocker. Or do I want to keep counter in hand? Okay, so we'll go 5 again. Don't need a ramp. Perfect. That, don't need it. He's at 9, so he's off 10 mom curve, at least. Oh. Bonnie. Interesting. Go 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 into my life. Block. Bonnie is now useless. Let's go ahead and we'll just do this. So if he wants to block, he has to block and counter. Draw 2, trash 1. Swing 5. Nope. 7. And 12. Next turn we drop that. We've got this one, I think, in the bag. Even if he 10 bombs. Even if he 10 bombs. Because what we might do then is block her up and split. Okay. Does that instead, which means I think we'll be safe, okay? 38 into life. 8 into Beckman. That's okay. That's a 2K counter. Okay. I think we just split here. Again, and psychological damage. Psychological damage.